Tensions in Israel's political landscape have reached a boiling point. On Tuesday, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition government took a major hit when the ultra-Orthodox party United Torah Judaism announced it was quitting the coalition. This sudden exit stems from growing unrest over a contentious law that would require ultra-Orthodox men to enlist in the Israeli military, a major departure from a decades-old exemption policy. While this move doesn't instantly bring down Netanyahu's government, it sends a powerful signal. The cracks in the coalition are widening. With UTJ out, Netanyahu's control over Israel's 120-seat parliament drops to a razor-thin 61-seat majority. This gives far-right factions significantly more leverage, factions that vehemently oppose any permanent ceasefire in Gaza and demand the continuation of military operations. The military draft issue lies at the core of this political upheaval. Since Israel's founding, ultra-Orthodox men have been largely exempt from military service, a privilege defended as a means of preserving religious scholarship and tradition. But over the years, these exemptions ballooned, sparking deep resentment among secular Israelis, especially as the war in Gaza stretches on and hundreds of soldiers have died. The Supreme Court ruled last year that without a new law codifying these exemptions, the ultra-Orthodox must be drafted like everyone else. That put Netanyahu's coalition in a bind. On one side, ultra-Orthodox parties demand legal protections for their communities. On the other, public and political pressure is mounting to enforce equal military obligations. The fallout couldn't come at a worse time. Ceasefire negotiations in Gaza are ongoing. Hamas wants a permanent end to the war, while Netanyahu's right-wing allies only support temporary truces. With UTJ's departure, Netanyahu's room for compromise has narrowed. If he concedes too much to Hamas, far-right partners could also exit, toppling the government entirely, and the situation could deteriorate further. A second ultra-Orthodox party is considering leaving over the same draft issue. If that happens, Netanyahu loses his majority altogether. Though opponents cannot force elections until year's end due to procedural rules, the government could enter paralysis, unable to pass laws or govern effectively. So, what happens next? Netanyahu has 48 hours to negotiate a compromise with UTJ. He might offer partial protections or procedural delays. But the court's stance complicates this effort. It has already ruled the exemption system unconstitutional. Meanwhile, Netanyahu faces pressure not only at home but abroad. Reports suggest Netanyahu may offer a 60-day ceasefire as a compromise, promising his coalition partners that the war can resume later. At the same time, analysts believe Netanyahu may try to shift focus toward diplomacy. If he can land a new US-led normalization deal with Arab states, it could boost his standing ahead of potential early elections in 2025, even though elections are officially scheduled for 2026. For now, Israel's future remains uncertain. The political center is fracturing, the war in Gaza rages on, and Netanyahu, Israel's longest-serving prime minister, is balancing on a knife's edge between the demands of his ultra-Orthodox allies, the far-right hardliners, the judiciary, and growing public unrest. Whether he can hold it all together, or whether this moment marks the beginning of the end, is a question that may define Israel's political trajectory for years to come.